The last moments of October 18th, 1993. From St. Croix to St. Peter, that's quite a jump.
I'm telling you.
Frank Foster, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Leigh. Wonderful.
Well, that was a marvelous concert here at Gustavus Adolphus, and as I sat up in this broadcast booth overlooking the stage where you and the Count Basie Orchestra were assembled, I got to thinking about leadership, and you've been with the Basie organization now as a leader, director, composer, arranger, conductor, performing artist, since about 1986. That's 7 years, isn't it?
Right.
And of course, the Count Bill Basie had his long run, and his management and leadership probably was a totally contrasting kind of direction. And
yeah, I would say so.
In the 7 years that you've been up there in the driver's seat, what have you discovered about leadership of an organization like this?
Well, that's a very good question, Leigh. I've discovered that you have to be mentally alert at all times. You have to have your program together. Even if you're spontaneously calling the selections from the top of your head, you still have to be pretty much in command of your faculties and know what you're going to do next. And you have to think of what you're going to do next while you're doing what you're doing now. And I can't have any mental lapses up there, or as they used to say, there'd be a big lull.
Or a terrible train wreck.
You're right, a 43-car pile up. And as Pee Wee Marquette at Birdland used to say, we don't want no lulls.
I can remember him calling the shots as the band went on. And you were sitting up, in the reed section, you and Frank West and the other Marshall Royal, the concertmaster,
Eddie Lockjaw Davis, and Charlie Folks on baritone.
And that was a different point of view. For there were actually probably two heads to the leadership, with Marshall Royal down there in the concert.
He was like a straw boss, and he counted off some of the tunes.
And meantime, Bill was over there behind the keyboard. Right. How about his leadership in contrast? I once asked him about it, and you know what happened? He walked away.
I don't know what he was trying to tell you with that, but he was much more laid back, and when he introduced somebody, after someone had played a solo, all he would say is, "Hey, Cap, hey, horse," and point to him, and the audience would acknowledge him. But he set most of the tempos by playing the piano. This is the biggest contrast. I have to count them all off because I'm not the pianist. And I haven't started to depend on the pianist to just start the tempos. And I do much more talking than Basie did. Bass, we got a little thing here. Ernie Rose has a little thing he calls Basie at the races, and then he let it go at that. And I go into some of the history of the band and some of the history of some of the fellows in the band, and I talk a little bit about Freddie Green now and then, and about Basie himself now and then, and stories behind some of the selections. So I'm a little more vocal than Basie was, but I will always remember his direction as far as what to do with the band to keep that music swinging and to keep the charts basically simple. Every now and then I do a little experimenting and have some pregnant 19ths in there, as Basie calls them. but never let the thing get too complicated, or never let it get stiff. Never let the looseness go out of it, and never let the pat your foot aspect of it disappear.
That phrase, "patchy foot." Yeah. Would you...
pat your foot.
Pat your foot aspect.
That's what Basie...
Yes.
When Basie was asked what's the essence of his music, that's the 3 words he used. Pat your foot.
And that really described it. And you keep it flowing in that fashion, too.
Well, that's necessary. And I have to keep the tradition in front of me and in front of the people. I have to perform at least 3 or 4 songs that are familiar with older Basie fans. And on top of some of the newer stuff. But I always sneak in a few new things.
Frank Foster, I know you're doing a lot of writing for the band, and as you create new material and integrate it with everything that is signature material of the Basie Institution, it all seems to blend, and it's a wonderful feat to accomplish.
Well, I have to think. I like to think in terms of the individuals in the orchestra. I've got lots of talent up there. I got about 18 very talented persons, and I want to feature every one of them in some context or another that fits with the Basie tradition.
And keep them challenged.
And keep them challenged with the new stuff. That's exactly what's happening.
When you think about the institution, and I call it in the most reverent sense, it's a historic document. It's a touring evidence of American classic music called jazz. What message do you want to convey to all of us who sit out there, listen to the recordings, see you in concert?
Well, first of all, the message that this music is timeless, and that what is good in 1935 will still be happening in 1995.
And as you make your way down through these years, you once mentioned to me that you had really prepared for this whole leadership role that you assumed. I know you said to me once a section hand, always a section hand, but, well, that was compromised, wasn't it?
I guess that was before I knew that one day I would be sitting in the driver's seat. But as I told you, I was 22 years in the trenches, in training with my own, several of my own bands.
Loud Majority?
The Loud Minority,
right.
And A Living Color, and the Non-Electric Company. So.
And with Elvin Jones.
And with Elvin Jones, right.
Yes.
He used to make me do the announcing. So I had lots of training in the 22 years that I was away from the Count Basie Orchestra.
Certainly this is a realization of real importance in anyone's life professionally.
Definitely. It's a realization of a dream to hear a large bulk of my own music being performed, my own arrangements, my own originals, nightly.
and be able to review, and I imagine some of those performances stimulate new compositional ideas and arrangements.
That's right, they do.
This is your laboratory, a little bit like Duke Ellington's in a way.
Exactly. I wish I could experiment with individuals to the extent that Duke did. I plan to do that, to showcase each individual member of the band in a setting that shows him off to the best advantage and still stays within the tradition.
You have a few more duties than maybe Bill Basie had, than maybe even Duke had.
Well, tell me some of them.
I don't know. You tell me, or am I wrong?
Well, I have to. Well, I'm in charge of hiring and firing, of course, and I'm charged with the responsibility of finding new talent when someone terminates, which, thank God, isn't very often. And it's my duty to keep new material coming into the organization that challenges the members, and yet it is in keeping with the tradition. And that's pretty much it. I don't handle any of the business, the monetary business. I keep out of that, because if I did, we'd go bankrupt tomorrow.
I see. On the other hand, you've got that space for creativity and that tremendous challenge, new compositions. You know, you write a lot of stuff, from Down for the Count, Blues Backstage, Shiny Stockings, and that whole segment, the Lake Placid Suite, which is a beautiful message for all of us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Frank Foster, meeting here in the middle of the night, in the middle part of the country, somewhere between St. Croix and St. Peter,
St. Peter.
is just a great pleasure.
Thank you, Leigh.
Thanks so much for
Okay.
staying up with us after the ball.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure.